Hello, my name is Anita Overton. I'm a volunteer with the League of Women Voters of Williamson County. To give you just some information about the League, we are a nonpartisan organization. The League never supports or opposes political candidates or political parties. However, we do take strong stances on policy issues relating to voting rights, civil rights, and other issues of importance to members and to the public. At the League of Women Voters, our mission is simple. It's empowering voters and defending democracy.
Okay, well, my name is Grace Shemaine, and I'm with the League of Women Voters of the Austin area. And right now we're going to go over something called the wide vote method. And the wide vote method will help you, we hope it'll help you find out for yourself why you should vote in this election. So let's get started. First off, we're going to go over some government-funded services. And so let's take a moment to think about government-funded services and how they impact you, your family, and your community. I want you to pick out the top 3 government-funded services that you would be able to, that are important to you. And then write them down if you want to, but keep them in mind throughout the whole event so that you can understand the importance of voting more and how important your vote is. So I'm going to go to the next section. Ready? Okay, first off is housing. So think about housing, public housing, homeless services, schools, free lunch programs, special education, vouchers, public education, healthcare, health insurance, Medicaid, Medicare, disability services, mental health, women's health, jobs, job training, unemployment. These are government-funded services, some of them. Adult education, think about GEDs, adult diplomas, community colleges, English as a second language, licensing and certification. Think about income support, if there's ever a need for welfare, food stamps, SNAP, Social Security. And think about your neighborhood. Think about the parks, the libraries, buses, trains, transportation, public safety, streets, and sidewalks. But remember, these are just a few of the government-funded services. And then let's go over your bills and how elected officials can impact your bills. So we're just going to go over a few of them. Whoops. Electricity. So who you elect appoints the people responsible for overseeing the electric grid. In Texas, the governor picks the members of the Public Utility Commission, and that board oversees ERCOT, and ERCOT runs the state's power grid. So when you vote for governor, you are choosing the person who picks the regulators in charge of lights and heating and energy. Voting keeps these officials accountable for fixing the grid and stopping sudden price hikes during bad weather. And then let's think about water. City councils, county officials, local utility districts decide where infrastructure dollars go. And those choices affect drainage improvements, aging water systems, flooding in neighborhoods, and what comes out of your tap. And then think about taxes. And you may not be paying your taxes now. Maybe somebody else is paying taxes. You're not working yet. That's all okay. But just think about taxes. Federal officials determine your income taxes and income tax exemptions. That means who doesn't have to pay those taxes or pays a different amount. State officials use property taxes to fund schools, and sales taxes are used to fund other items. Local officials determine tax rates and spending priorities that influence housing costs and all of those other services. So I just want you to sort of try to connect the bills you are paying uh, to the people you are voting for. Okay, Anita.
Okay, now that we've seen how decisions made by elected officials impact your daily life, let's talk about midterm elections coming up this fall. There are some key dates that we need to know. The last day to register or to update your registration is Monday, October the 5th. Early voting starts Monday, October 19th and runs through Friday, October 30th. Election day is Tuesday, November 3rd. During early voting is when we encourage people to go. There are no lines. You can get in and out. Early voting in Travis and Williamson County is going to be countywide, which means you can vote at any voting location.
Okay, thank you.
Now let's have some midterm election trivia. Why is this called a midterm election?
Ready?
Midterm elections happen 2 years after a presidential election. What federal elected officials will be on your ballot?
Yes.
There will be 2 federally elected officials, U.S. Senator and U.S. Congressional Representative. Think about your 3 funded priorities that you listed earlier. How could these elected officials impact your life?
Very good.
There'll also be state elected officials on the ballot. And here's a list of those that are possibly on the ballot or that will be on the ballot. Wow. There are a lot of state elected officials on the ballot. Again, think about your priorities and how these elected officials, will impact your life.
Okay.
There'll also be local elected officials on your ballot. Here's a list. So I hope that you're understanding and realizing the importance of voting and the importance of who it is that you elect, because it's definitely something that will impact you greatly.
If not you, your community or your family. So
Correct.
just keep all of that in mind. Ooh. Okay. So what options do students have to register when they go and they're thinking, where should I register to vote? So we have a couple of options for you. Ready? You could register if you're a student living away from home, you could register to vote using your home address, like where your parents live, where you live when you're not at school, or you can register at your student address, like the address for your dorm or your apartment if you're living there, but you're a student at the college. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to let you know that the league encourages voters who are students to register at their student address. And that is because it is easier to register, it's easier to get to the election, it's easier to vote in every election if you're voting where you live most of the time. If you have to drive home across Texas to go register to go vote at your parents' where you live when you live with your parents, sometimes that can be a problem. And oftentimes it's more difficult to vote by mail. So we encourage students to register and vote at their student address. Isn't that right, Anita?
Correct.
Okay. Let's see, who is this one?
Voting
Anita.
trivia in Texas. How do I check if I'm registered to vote? That's such a good question.
Right,
So
let's see the answer.
okay, so everyone has a cell phone at their disposal. I don't want to say everyone, but the majority of us have a cell phone at our disposal. So take that out right now, and I'm going to ask you to go to vote411.org. That's vote411.org, and it's listed on the screen. I'll give you a few seconds to locate that. Once you've gotten that, gone to vote411.org, then I'm going to ask you to scroll down, click check my registration or check your registration. Then click select a state. We are in Texas, so we're going to select Texas. You should get a message that says, welcome to your personal voter portal. Are you registered? You're going to enter your first name, your last name, a suffix, junior or senior, if there is one, your date of birth, and then you're going to select your criteria, which could be your county and zip code, driver's license, or voter ID. Then click submit. At that point, your voter registration information should populate. You want to scroll until you see active. If you see active, that means you're all good, you're ready to go. If you see suspense, anything other than active, or if records show that you can't be found, then we encourage you to contact your local elections office and have them assist you with that. We can also, there are some other areas that you can check just to double check or to cross check to see if there's any information, voter information. You can go to votetravis.gov to their voter lookup. You can go to wilcotexas.gov, elections voter lookup. So those are some options, but if all else fails, if you still can't find yourself, don't worry, don't despair. Just contact your local elections office for further assistance.
Thank you. And Anita, shouldn't they check? When do they need to check before an election?
Definitely 30 days before.
Yes.
But I would say get in the habit of regularly checking once a month. Start checking today. Check as regularly as possible. Things happen. So just make sure you're checking to ensure that you're always active and up to date.
All right, thank you. Let's see what this says. Ooh, how do I vote by mail in Texas? The answer is it depends. Texas limits who can vote by mail. So voters over 65 and over, I need to fix this slide, 65 and over, 6 or disabled are able to apply annually to vote by mail in Texas so that they could get their ballot mailed to them directly. And there is another group of folks that need to apply for every election. And those are voters who are out of the country during early voting and on election day. So they would have to apply for each election. Other people who need to apply for each election would be a person expecting to give birth within 3 weeks before or after election day, or voters who are in jail but otherwise eligible to vote. So you could, we do want to remind you that if you are going to vote by mail, that you should get your ballots. You should look at them, research your ballots on vote411.org, which is the league's voters guide. Research who you're going to vote for, fill out your ballot, and get it back in the mail. You want to ensure that it arrives by election day. You want to avoid late United States Postal Service postmarks. Avoid any issues with that. So if you are close to the election, you would want to go into the post office and ask them to manually postmark that election envelope where you're mailing back your ballot. Anytime you're turning it in close to election day, make sure you get a manual postmark. So I just wanted to remind you about that. Is there anything else, Anita?
No, I think that's just definitely a very important reminder. We know things happen. And so in order to just provide yourself with some safety and some security, just get it stamped before the date.
There you go. Okay. Oh, what steps can you take to vote in the upcoming election? Is that yours, Anita?
Yes, we have a little voting in Texas trivia. So what steps can you take to vote in the upcoming election? First, you can make your plan. We just talked about checking your registration or registering to vote. Learn about your early voting options, where to go. Explore your day of voting options. What machines are going to be utilized? How do you enter? Where do you enter? You can research candidates and share your plans. Tell your friends and family what you've learned in the process of making a voting plan and encourage them to make their own. Share league flyers and voters' guides with family, friends, and others. Then cast your ballot and let your voice be heard.
Very good. And vote 411, of course, is very
And vote
important
for
to go
1-1,
there.
of course. Yes.
All right. Sandy, this is where we would normally go over if anybody has questions about voting, but since we're the only ones on this presentation at the moment, it would be a good place if you're presenting this to stop and answer any questions and we provide some resources for you. So we're going to go on to the next slide. Let's see, we're going to do some voter turnout trivia, and that is, what was the voter turnout for people ages 18 to 29 in the 2024 presidential election? Does anybody have an idea? And here is the answer. Ready? The answer is 47% of folks in that age group voted nationwide, 39% voted in that age group in Texas. So there are some other numbers to review just to see categories of voters. I do want to stop and just mention that sharing that fewer people than you would like to voting is sharing that information is not necessarily encouraging anybody to vote. What encourages people to vote, we're going to talk about next, but it is more about sharing how the great numbers of people are voting and sharing with your friends and family and encouraging everybody in your community to participate. So Anita is going to go over a few items.
How can you help improve voter participation and turnout? What works to grow voters? Again, it's telling your story and why you vote, not saying who you vote for, unless they, ask, then share that, but not telling individuals how to vote, but sharing your story and also sharing resources. The League has a plethora of resources besides the voter's guide, which is published before every election. We have flyers, we have bookmarks. We also are willing and ready, if you have an event or an activity, we have speakers that are willing and ready to come and speak, to share our knowledge, share our information. All you have to do is just ask us, and we'll be happy to attend. Also, you'll see us throughout the communities, Williamson County and Travis County, on a regular basis at organizations and events and activities where we have our tables set up. We're sharing information, we're educating voters, we're providing information as it relates to disinformation and misinformation, and we're registering voters.
And thank you. All right. So if you want equality, if you want equity, if you want justice, if you want voting rights, you have got to fight for it. And this is from my friend, Annie Benefield. She's with the Houston Voters Initiative, and she's the League of Women Voters of Houston past president. Anita.
And as shared by the Honorable John Lewis, the late Honorable John Lewis, U.S. House of Representatives and civil rights leader, speak up, speak out, get in the way, get in good trouble, necessary trouble, and help redeem the soul of America.
Thank you. Here are some resources that we're sharing with you. And as Anita shared earlier, we're here to help out. Let us know if you need us to come do a presentation, if you need us to register voters, anything like that. We'd be happy to help out. We have the biggest resource we have is our voter's guide, which is found before early voting at vote411.org. We have our websites, lwvaustin.org, votetravis.gov, which is for Travis County voters, wilcotx.gov elections, which is for Williamson County voters, votetexas.gov, which goes to everyone in Texas. It's a good resource. And 866ravote.org, which is a nonpartisan election protection website. If you have a problem, you run into some problem that you can't overcome, they're there to help you. And the League of Women Voters is part of that coalition. So if you need anything, let us know. Thank you, Anita, for joining me on this presentation. Oh, go ahead.
You're welcome. One other thing, we can encourage everyone to go to vote411.org. When you go there, you can put in your address. It will pull up your ballot, your specific ballot of everything that you are able to vote on. You can make your selections. You can print out that form, and you can take that with you to the polling locations. You can't take your phone, but you can take that printout, or you can just simply write your selections on a piece of paper and take that with you. That will suffice as well. And it will also help you to ensure that you are prepared, you know who you're going to vote for, you understand their positions, and they are aligned with you.
Thank you. You're absolutely right. Thank you so much. And we hope everyone goes out and starts empowering voters and defending democracy in their own community. Thank you for joining us.